Hello, everybody. My name is Craig Blanchett. It's my pleasure. I'm an optimal lifestyle and health coach, and it's my pleasure to bring this training to you. We have a weekly health class. Sometimes we do a health tip. Sometimes we do a healthy recipe. Sometimes we talk about success stories and actually interview people that are establishing health in their lives, and it's making a difference. It's actually sticking, and they're actually becoming healthy. And so we get super excited about that. And so tonight is one of those nights. We call this stories and strategies of life change, because not only do we want to hear a story, but it's great to hear all the exciting things that are happening, but we want to share some of the strategies that those people are using, because maybe you can actually employ some of those same strategies and start seeing good or better results, healthier results for yourself as well. So we have 3 stories tonight. I'm going to start with my story, and then we're going to share Abby's story. And then the third story is going to be Renee. And then in between the stories, I want to just let you guys comment on maybe something that inspired you, or maybe a question you have, or some kind of thing. It's always good when someone shares a story to get some feedback. It's encouraging. I know some of the people that are sharing their stories tonight, they haven't done this very much, and so they're a little nervous. And even I'm a little bit nervous, and I've shared my story many times. And then at the very end, about 20, 25 minutes after, I will give an overview of some of the common strategies that we've been using that seem to be actually helping. And then we'll end right at the bottom of the hour and let you guys get on with your evening, and maybe even go start utilizing some of these things. So let's see here. So first up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. This is a before picture of me probably about 5 years ago. And I'll tell you what, can everybody actually, can somebody maybe in the chat window make sure you can see that picture of me in red, a red racing suit? Is that coming through well? I'm assuming so. Yes, it is. Thank you, Barb. And so this picture is actually kind of interesting. When I took that picture, I was thinking to myself, I'm pretty buff. Like, I had my hand cycle is sitting behind me, and this particular event was called the Seattle to Portland, and it's a cycling race that starts in Seattle, Washington, and you ride south through all these various roads and cities and little towns, and after 200 miles, you end up in Portland. And this year I did it. It was a 2-day trip, so we did 100 miles the first day, and then 100 miles the second day. And this was roughly the halfway point. And my buddy took a picture of me, and I was about 50 pounds heavier than I am now. And it took me 2 days to do the event. What's pretty kind of interesting is that 3 years later, after I found this optimal health program, I had dropped 50 pounds. I'm showing you the before, the after picture. It's me. Here I am. And so what happened is I dropped my 50 pounds by using some of these strategies that many of us are using, and I didn't lose any of my strength. So I still was just as strong, but I was now quite a bit smaller. And so it was 2 years ago, I think now, that I did that same bike event, and I did it in a single day. So I did the 200 miles all in one day, and averaged almost 17 miles an hour. And of course, I was just using these guys, my arms. And so that was a big accomplishment, to be able to do something that I wasn't sure I could do, and to kind of test myself after, and that was one of the things that I was able to do because of the choices that I made to build certain habits into my life that made significant changes to many areas. That was just one of them, being able to go back and race again. And so that's a little bit about my story. I want to turn this over and see if you guys have a question about things that I said, or maybe just a comment. Give a few minutes there and go ahead and unmute yourself. Or you can, there's a button that you can raise your hand. If you click on participants at the bottom, you can click on raise your hand. And anybody have a comment or a question?
Well, I have a comment, Craig.
Yeah. Hi, Barb.
Hi. I just think it's really interesting that your first comment was, with this picture, you thought you were so buff and so, and which only speaks to the fact that we all have room for improvement, and so I just wanted to, because my story is sort of similar to that, in that I didn't really think that I needed anything, even though in the back of my mind, I knew that I wasn't as healthy as I could be. So. That
makes sense. Here is actually, I wanted to show you this one here. This was a picture of me at my heaviest. This is when I was 175 pounds. I think in that other photo, I was maybe 150, 160. But that's, oddly enough, the guy standing next to me, his name's David Gans. He's a friend of mine, and this was his wedding photo. And he was the guy that was on the bike ride with me both times that I did it. And so that's actually, oddly enough, interesting information. But anyway, thanks, Barb. Yeah, one thing I find in common from everybody that I've talked to is that not one of us is as healthy as we want to be in one of the three areas: our jobs or our finances, our emotions or our mental state, or our physical health, our weight, our energy, our strength. Not one of us is as healthy as we want to be. And so one thing that joins us all together here is that we all have that in common, and we're doing something about it. Even if you just showed up tonight and that's the thing you're doing, that's something. So I hope that some of these stories will inspire you. Stacy, I'll unmute you there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of the perfect story to start out with too, because I know you, and I think there's a couple other people on here that had posted on Facebook about being obese and fit versus slim and healthy. And that's kind of just breaks perfectly to those articles that you guys have been posting on Facebook today.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I have so many. That's sort of a pet peeve of mine, quite frankly, that some people say that just because I'm overweight doesn't mean I'm unhealthy. And it's like, well, I guess it just depends on what you mean by healthy, because you actually are. And so those were two articles that proved the point. You really can't be healthy and not be at a healthy weight. But just because you're at a healthy weight also doesn't mean you're completely healthy. We're still all working on stuff. So, Kit, you're up. I unmuted you.
What physical thing did you notice the most change in, like in movement and stuff not hurting? Yeah,
that's a great question. For me, it was probably I live in a 2-story house. For those of you who don't know me, I know I look tall. We all look about the same height. You all look about 6 foot to me. But I'm 3'9", oddly enough. I was born with really short legs, and I've been this way my whole life. And so I live in a 2-story home, but I use a wheelchair when I'm moving around most of the time, especially when I leave the house. And so for me, going up and down the stairs at my house, 10 pounds, it makes a massive difference. 50 pounds was a world of difference. And so I would say it's actually my freedom to be who I want to be was hindered by the weight that I carried. I couldn't hop in and out of cars with as much spunk as I wanted to. And I was just sort of sluggish. And so when I lost the weight, that was significant power to weight ratio, but it also made me, when I looked in the mirror, I recognize the guy looking back at me. That was a big deal. So, anybody else have a comment or two? Okay. Well, so what I'm going to do next. So if you're on a telephone, I'm going to mute everybody. And if you want to unmute, you hit *6 to unmute, just for the folks that are on the telephone, if you do want to do that. But next up, I have Abby. And so I wanted to, I want to bring her on. I don't have a picture of her right now. We're going to see her when she talks. She'll show up on the screen. But so Abby, I met Abby at Wheelchair Sports Camp this year. Many of you know and have heard me talk about Wheelchair Sports Camp. And it's a camp in Minnesota that I've been going to for almost 30 years. And I was going as a participant for many years. And then I was one of the professional athletes that I got to mentor the kids. And then I got graduated into the director. So I'm sort of the guy that kind of organize things and make sure everybody's having fun and getting points and all that. And so I met Abby there this year, and I'll tell you just a little bit about Abby. Abby uses a special wheelchair that because you can maybe tell us a little bit about why you use a wheelchair, maybe what happened there, and then one of the things. And actually, for those of you that have been on the huddle for a while, when I got back from camp, I probably told you all about Abby, even though I didn't even know if she'd ever be joining us. But she uses a special wheelchair where she breathes out of her mouth, and she does certain things where she breathes in or sucks out or does these different things, and it moves this wheelchair. And we set up this obstacle course at camp. And there were guys that had full use of their hands that were running over cones and having a hard time. And she was just running that thing all around the thing. And so I kept asking her questions. How do you do that? How's this thing work? Tell me, can you show me how to do this? Get out of there. Can I get in there? I mean, I was teasing her about lots of stuff. But anyway, so I've been working with Abby now for probably 4 months. And so I want to tell her a little bit. I want to just kind of interview you, Abby, a little bit about how you got in the chair, and then some of the things that weren't as healthy as you wanted them to be, and what that looked like. So welcome, Abby.
Thanks. In 2010, I was in a car accident. I broke my neck, and it paralyzed me. So I have no movement below my shoulders.
Okay, awesome. And so obviously that's what would you say would be some of your biggest challenges health-wise, in your life?
I have definitely several challenges. I deal with pressure sores from sitting in one place because I'm not able to move around.
Mm-hmm.
I have to worry about my bladder and kidneys all the time,
mm-hmm.
which actually has improved with drinking water all the time.
Yeah. When I started working with Abby, we have the interview that many of us do. And so I asked her a bunch of questions, scale of 1 to 10, all these different things. And we decided that water was it water? What was the other one? I think it was water and sleep. I think those were the first two things. Mm-hmm. And so she started her water. That was one of the strategies we used with her. And what was what did you notice being beneficial for that for you practically?
Well, I haven't been needing antibiotics. I've been staying away from bladder infections and kidney infections, which has been great.
Yeah. Well, I was really great, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we worked on sleep. That was another thing. So tell me a little bit about your sleep before and then how that's changed.
Sleep before was pretty terrible. I'd get maybe tops 3 hours a night. And then now I'm getting, on average, probably about 8 hours.
Unbelievable. That's so great. So tell me a little bit about what your kind of, so now your life now, if things have improved, obviously those are two things, less bladder infections, better sleep, but what else is different just as we're working together, working on many things, but what do you notice different about sort of your outlook for the future and kind of where you're at?
I mean, I'm excited about health, which is something I never thought I'd actually say.
Why is that? Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, when you hear the word health, some people, they just have a different interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of used to,
Seems kind of dull.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed the journey, and right now I'm throwing the idea around of health coaching with, and getting into the program.
Yeah. I introduced Abby to my mentor and coach, Terry Miller, and so we had a conversation with her, and just like many of the people that are on the call, this meeting tonight, is everyone started out as somebody that wasn't as healthy as they wanted to be. And we started working on that, usually as a client. Some people came along and wanted to help other people right away. And some people, it took a little bit more time. And some people are still thinking about it. But ultimately, really what we're trying to do is build a community of people helping people to help people. And the more of us we have, the stronger we are. And so, Abby, I'm so excited about you. Well, it's just been a treat working with you. And I know that your life is inspiring to people, and how cool and how amazing it would be if you decide to work with us and get trained as a health coach, that you'll be like helping other people practically work on things in their own life. And it's like super exciting. So thanks for sharing your story with us tonight. I'd love to open it up. If anybody here has a question they wanted to, or a comment for Abby, jump in, unmute and jump in.
Craig, first of all, I just want to say, Abby, that you are already such an inspiring person, and I was really inspired by the fact, for you, this is about health from the beginning. I wish I could say that about myself. For me, it was mostly about losing weight at first, and it took a while before my focus became health-minded. And so that part of your story was really inspiring to me. And I love the way that you don't let any barrier or obstacle stop you. I think if you decide to be a coach, you're going to, well, either way, you're going to inspire a lot of people. And so thank you for sharing tonight.
Thanks.
I have something. Abby, what would you say right now off the top of your head is your most favorite thing about getting healthy?
I feel like I'm learning something new all the time. And I kind of like that. I like the learning process.
Totally.
One of the things we talked about is the difference between studying and learning, or homework. If you think about it, if as a coach, I told Abby I'm not going to give her homework because she's going to school right now and she has homework all the time. And I said, I don't want to give you homework, but let's learn something. Let's learn something fun and exciting. And she's like, well, I like learning. And so it might be just a simple word difference. But if you think of health as homework, you might run from it, because homework, we just have that idea. Oh, it's homework. Oh, I got to read this. Oh, I got to do that. But if we think of learning, right now we're all learning, by the way, and I'm having a ball. And so maybe that's just a mental switch to go from homework to actually learning. And learning is, if it's not fun, and learn something different. Dang it. Right. Hey, Abby, one of the things that we talked about is one of your biggest reasons had to do with the people that were providing care for you. Can you kind of unpack that a little bit and share that with the gang?
Oh, yeah. Another reason is that I'd like to get healthy and lose some weight is, to help those who take care of me as well. Well, for instance, my mom, she transfers me in and out of bed by herself, and she kind of whips me around, and it'd be a lot easier for her.
Yeah. So literally just the practical nature of you weighing less is going to change the freedom for you as well, and is going to be a blessing to the people that are providing care for you. So yeah, these are all things that unless you think about them, you never think about them, right? I mean, I guess that's the same way with everything, I guess. But when you think about that, it's like, what a way to have a blessing. We all think about when we get healthy that it blesses the people around us. And there's so many ways that it practically does that. And that's a very, very practical way. So awesome. Well, if anybody, I want to make sure everybody has a chance to love on you and comment. So anybody else? Again, if you're on the telephone and you want to comment, *6 will unmute you. Okay. All right.
I guess I'm on the phone.
Oh, well, hey, Martin.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you, Abby. I just want to, thank you for kind of your inspiration. And as you're telling your story, something kind of came to mind that, for me, when you said you kind of mentioned something about health. And I know probably a lot of us, when we talk to someone about health, we always may get an eye roll as far as, yeah, right, I know what health is. But what came to mind for me when you were talking about this was you're coming from such an interesting platform that none of us can really come from. When you ask someone what it is, what does it mean to them to have health, most of them will think, well, if I could just eat right and exercise, everything would be fine. But with your platform, you can come to them from so much more as far as what does it really mean to have your health. It's not just our weight and our ability to exercise. It's all the other areas that Take Shape for Life offers as far as, the sleep and the stress and the relationships. And that's just something that kind of struck me with the platform that you have, or you will be able to speak into other people's lives that none of us will be able to do. So thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. All right, guys. Well, Abby's been coming to these huddles for a while and tuning in and learning with us and being inspired. And now we get to be inspired by her a bit. And so thanks so much for sharing with that. Whether you're a coach or not, I know you're inspiring people. And so it'll be fun. It's just fun to work with you. It's been an absolute blast. So next up, we have Renee. And so I'm going to show Renee's before picture. And I'll show the picture, and then I'll just have you, Renee, tell me these. So these are some two pictures, and I saw this on Facebook, and it was pretty dramatic. And so tell us a little bit about the lady on the left, and kind of where you were feeling and what the mindset was, and just kind of your condition at that point. How long ago was that? All that kind of stuff.
Well, I've always struggled with weight all of my life, but I've always had like a magic run from 200 zone. And but getting married and then having 2 pregnancies back to back, I went over it and stayed over it and couldn't get under it. So this was about, the first picture on the left is about a year after my second child, was born. And I was trying all sorts of different plans, and nothing was helping me. I was gaining and losing the same 10 to 15 pounds, and I was very frustrated.
Mm-hmm. And so the lady on the right, it's the same shoes and the same dress.
Yeah.
It sounds like you there's probably
So I was
something
cleaning out my
driving.
closet
Yeah.
and pulled out the dress and remembered another before and after. And I'm not completely at my after, but I thought it would be interesting to put on the dress and before I got rid of it and tied it as tight as I could go. And then my husband took a picture just so we could get a look-see at the difference. And we both were a little taken aback because it looked like a different person. The dress even looked like a different dress.
It does. It looks like it's different material. It's more vibrant. It looks very different. And so how much weight? I mean, I know weight is only one indicator of health, but it is something that we can quantify easily. So where did you start and where are you at today?
I started at 225 and a half, and I'm currently at 164.
Wow. That's significant.
Which is way past where I wanted to stop at because I got married at about 170, was happy with my size then, felt attractive, but it was such a battle to lose those pounds that I thought for sure that could take me a year or more to get to that. And I'm about 6 months at this point. And now I'm 4 pounds away from a weight I was in high school.
Wow. Okay.
So mentally, that's really hard to wrap my brain about. I'm going to be in my 40s. I'm going to weigh a weight I weighed in my teens. So.
Wow. And so let's just talk about that a little bit. Because there's a different lady looking back at you when you look at yourself, and your husband, even though you're the same human being, there's different things about you. And so tell us a little bit about what life is like living in this version of you.
Yeah, no, I have me back.
Yeah.
I have my energy. I have my spunk, my vigor. I used to be a competitive dancer, so I'm actually back in a dance class. I'm training to become a Zumba instructor. I'm me. I'm out there. I'm comfortable with myself, and I'm present with my family and my kids, and I don't lose my stamina by the end of the evening. I still have more to go, and that's a big thing for me because I was toast before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you've actually are going through our health coach training program and are now paying it forward, helping some folks.
Right.
As you can tell, what's that look like? I mean, I know that you have a coach, and your coach is smiling right now. And I know as you are working with people, tell us a little bit of what it's like to actually be on this journey with somebody else.
Well, it's very exciting to have found something that works and that just helps me feel back to myself, feel feel good. The eating makes everything, eating healthy makes everything feel better. The sleep is better. My energy is better. And then to have friends who want to grasp a hold of that, and it's something that I can run around and share, that's exciting. I'm in a role that I've always dreamed of, that to be somebody to look after or look upon as I want to do what she's doing. I've always dreamed of getting in that spot, but never thought I would ever get there because it was such a trial and tribulation to lose. Like I said, 10 to 15 pounds was just a struggle. So it's a very different place to be in, but very exciting to be in.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, I want to give people an opportunity to ask questions or to share some of their comments with you. And so thank you. First of all, thank you. Excellent story. And so I'm going to toss this out to you guys. Who has some comments for Renee?
I definitely do, Craig.
I'm sure her coach, Alex is her coach. I'm sure he does.
Yeah. Well, let me just say, Renee, I've seen that picture. I was blown away when I saw it the first time, and it never ceases to amaze me. It's a different person. yet I know it's you. You're still your same driver personality. You're caring, compassionate self. You're just more of the good parts of you, you know, and that's the thing I've noticed is there's so much, you know, you kind of look at a diamond is in the rough, right? And that's what's happening. And Renee had a lot of shiny parts to her, but now they're all kind of like coming out. And it's exciting to be a part of that. It is like a metamorphosis of a butterfly. I don't know if she'll ever be a full butterfly. She'll be like that bad, I can't say the word be, you know how the rest of that says. Like, she's a good girl, but she's.
Where are you going with that, Alex?
Yeah. You're just yeah.
Tough butterfly. Right?
Yeah, tough butterfly. Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant to say. Thank you, Craig. I needed that.
Yeah.
So the last thing I will say about working with you is that Renee is the kind of person who cannot help but share what's going good for her and want to help other people. That has been a theme for her is that if someone asks, she is so willing. Unlike sometimes we are so afraid to tell somebody about what's going good for us if we think we're trying to get them or whatever. I haven't seen that with Renee. If she has that, it doesn't really exist because she's so concerned about helping them that she kind of takes her own worry about whether they're going to become a client or not and puts that on the side. And that's what I have loved about working with you. And that's why so many people are getting healthy right now, because you did not wait until you were at your perfectly healthy place. I'm not even at my perfectly healthy place. You didn't wait for that. And now look what's happening. So that's brilliant.
Yeah. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Anybody else want to dogpile on Renee in a healthy, good way?
You need me to help you with those words there, Craig?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Gigi, go for it.
Okay, Renee, something that you said that kind of resonated with me is that you're present and with your kids and your family. And that's something I think was true for me in a big way, and that I didn't know I was gaining. You know, when I started my journey, that wasn't in my head. But looking back, I guess it was such a slow transition of not being present. I wasn't even aware I wasn't until, you know, it became something for me. And I think a lot of us, we miss that. We don't even know we're missing the fact that we're not present in our lives and with our families. But now you've got that, and congratulations, good for you.
Thank you.
Wow, Gigi, that was so profound for the both of you, being present in your life. And how often are we on autopilot, almost observers in our life, just going through the motions? And it seems like this process and this community wakes us up to feel again and to connect again. I don't know. That was good. Thanks, Gigi. Wow, you made me cry. Woo, that was good stuff. So, anybody else want to make sure we don't miss anybody?
I was just going to jump in there, kind of similar. You know, Renee, you said that you got yourself back. You know, you were yourself again, and I was just wondering if you could reflect a little bit on, were there any pieces of you that you didn't know you didn't have anymore when you started that you realized after the fact you gained back?
Well, I just did not like what I saw in the mirror. I did not feel attractive. I did not, I didn't feel like this, I don't know, there's no prize mom or prize wife, but it wasn't who I wanted to be reflected to others. And so when I started liking what I would see in the mirror and feeling more confident and feeling healthier, then I felt like I could let who I wanted to, like, I used to be a competitive dancer. I like being out there on stage. I love my Zumba classes. I want to be a Zumba instructor, but weight always held me back from that. And so now I'm not shy about searching and touching and reaching for that goal. And so it brought back, like I said a little bit before, kind of like the spunk, having fun with life, some humor. I feel that a little more. I'm also a school teacher, so I feel that with my students in my class. So that's the part of me that I kind of tucked under all the weight that I was not liking on me, and the lack of self-confidence that was there.
Thank you for sharing that. I know for myself too, that it's just amazing how many doors we let shut without realizing it. And what a blessing to have that weight gone and have whatever door open that you want to open. So Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
You know, I want to say thank you to all of you guys that are here. We have a good 26 people here that have joined us tonight. And this is life for me. I started this program almost 6 years ago, and you guys are all here because somebody that I connected with eventually connected with you. And so it's kind of like we're this big family. And I'm still on my journey, and you guys are part of my journey. And I hear your stories, and I'm like, yes, that's why it's important. And I just heard I heard Gigi respond to Renee about being present in your life again. And it's like, we just have these takeaways. And so I want to invite you to come back again. We do this every week, and it's 6 o'clock. I want to give you, for some of you that may not know exactly some of the things that we do, I want to tell you the basic 3 building blocks of what we use for strategies on this Habits of Health program that we use. And so the first element that I think is the most valuable is that everybody that is involved in this program has a personal health coach. I have a coach. My coach has a coach. Everybody has a coach. And so you have that support, that partner, really. And it's not somebody that's telling you what to do, but it's somebody that's partnering with you as you're growing and learning. And remember, we don't do homework, but we do learn. And so in addition to your personal health coach, we have this community that's part of our journey as well. All of you guys make up that. We also have some support calls. Every week there's an on-demand. You can listen to it live, or you can listen to the recording on demand whenever you want. And we have 3 different episodes every week. I have just been told, by the way, that starting in January, we're going to open up our podcasts again, and they're going to start being live podcasts. So you'll be able to go to iTunes or whatever your podcast tool is and search for TSFL, and you'll be able to subscribe to those links. So that's the support piece, individual support and community support. The second piece that we use is a lot of people need to recalibrate their habits. And one of the habits that we use is eating every 3 hours. Most of us have never had that habit to begin with. I guess when you're a baby, you probably eat every 3 hours at some point. But we lose track of that, and we go to more of 3 times a day or 2 times a day, sometimes 1 time a day with a bunch of coffee. And so we need a way to build a rhythm of eating 6 times a day. And then we need to calibrate the things that we're eating so it controls our blood sugar and gives us all these nutrients to nourish our bodies. And so we use a program called, or a strategy called the 5-in-1. And it's 5 smaller meals that are portion controlled, and they have the right nutrients. It's sort of all kind of taken care of. And you eat 5 of those a day, separated by about 3 hours. And then 1 time a day, you're gonna prepare a home cooked meal, or you can go out as well. But most of the time, people cook those at home. So we're gonna teach you how to cook and how to portion and how to shop. And so you get a full lesson, and then we add water and sleep, and we pretty much have kind of a magic recipe to calibrate our bodies into a weight loss phase. Most people ask me, well, what do we do after we lose the weight? And I say, I like what you're thinking, because you're only going to lose weight if you learn how to be healthy. You'll just lose weight once, and then you have to learn to live at a healthy weight. And so we have a transition program, and we have an ongoing Habits of Health program. So that brings me to the third and final piece, is we have a system called the Habits of Health system, which some people look at it as homework. Some people look at it as learning. And if you look at it as learning, you're actually going to learn to be a healthy person, and you're going to learn about glycemic index and setting goals and movement and exercise and all these kinds of things. And so it's our support piece with our coaching and our community. It's our meal programs and our nutrition strategies that are multifaceted. And then we also have our habits of health system, which teaches us those habits of health. And all I would say to you, or one thing that I would leave you guys with, is that if you're not as healthy as you want to be, it's not about being good enough or not good enough. It just means you haven't installed enough healthy habits. And so you go back and you learn something new and you start to install that. And if you install enough, you'll achieve the health that you want. So that's going to conclude our meeting tonight. And thank you to Abby and Renee for sharing your stories with us. And thank you all for joining in. If somebody invited you to this, so one of the people that were sharing their stories, call them up and let them know how they did. I know they were a little bit nervous, and then if you want to come back next week, we might have some new stories next week, or we might have a health tip or something. But ultimately, this time of year is the time of year when lots of people are making decisions about health. And so I want to encourage you that if you are thinking about doing something, consider if what you're going to do includes the necessary things to actually grow into a healthy person, or if it's just going to teach you how to lose weight and what you really want. When I've asked people after they lose their weight, how long do they want to keep it off? I've never heard anybody say only for a couple of months, but that happens all the time. And so think about that when you're making a decision, and think about the people that you're around this holiday season. If you are experiencing the differentness of what we're doing here, there's most people don't know about what we're doing here, and they're still struggling with those diets. And so you might encourage them to tune in and check us out and maybe be inspired, and maybe they can learn some healthy habits, just like Renee is doing, and just like Abby's doing, and many of the rest of you. So that concludes our meeting tonight. We did go a little bit long here, but I appreciate all the comments you guys had and the stories. And we're going to go transition into a little bit of health coach training. And so if you want to stay on, you are more than welcome. We won't get weird. We're the same people. But we're going to transition into talking about supporting people and helping people on their journey with this next segment. So thanks everybody for joining us tonight.